was Ted Blom there. Let's move back to our focus on education. Primary schools across the country starting to open up to 100% capacity in the classroom, but with overcrowding a real challenge in many schools. Education authorities are desperate to get learning back to normal, of course, mindful of just how much is being lost due to the interrupted schooling. I'm joined now by the Gauteng Education MEC, Panyaza Lesufi. Mr. Lesufi, thank you so much for your time. So it was the beginning of going back full-time, and there's so much anxiety, of course, amongst yourselves, I'm sure, and many parents about a loss of learning. So it's a wonderful moment, and yet we were just listening to the school principal of Boikanyo Higher Primary in Soweto, and she says we've got 70 kids in a class. How do we social distance? So what do you say?
Thank you so much, Sally, for the opportunity. It was indeed a mixed day, to be quite frank, with schools like Boikanyo that you will have a high number of learners, because some of the learners last time when we called them back, others decided not to come back. So we are thrilled that indeed they are all back. It's an indication that public education remains that instrument that can be accommodated. What we have done today, because it was indeed a mixed bag, so what we have done today, it was to take stock of where we have challenges and also encourage where we don't have challenges to people to continue. Where we have problems, like the school we have just quoted, we've already communicated with them that they might have to go back to the rotational system until we have sorted out all the challenges that they are facing. But we are quite excited that majority of our children decided to come back.
I mean, it's great that some kids can go back to full-time learning, but as you say, you might have to be forced to do rotational learning a bit longer because of the pandemic, and inevitably it's going to be kids in poor schools, which further advantages those children who probably most need the support. Surely this is not the right solution.
Yeah, that's what saddens us. But the numbers are not that bad, to be quite frank. Of the 2,300 schools that we have in Gauteng, roughly we had almost close to 80 schools that are challenges of the 2,300 that we have. Normally we're planning around 57. There are others that came and indicated that they've got serious challenges. Others is unresolved matters of vandalism. Others is water pressures and lack of water in some of the schools that we have. But majority of them is overcrowding. If we have a classroom where we've got 4 desks and you need to remove 2 for purpose of social distancing, that automatically translates to a situation that is not tenable. So what we are doing now is to rectify or remedy those things. We have sent a template to all our schools to fill. They filled that template. We are just waiting for fewer schools to complete that template. On the basis of that, we'll do our mapping. We don't think that it will extend that beyond a month. We are really working around the clock to ensure that we maintain the situation within the shortest possible time.
So you've basically given yourself a month to sort out those 80 schools that still need some support to get the full-time process back. Talk to me about the registration process, which is open for next year's grade 1s and grade 8s. There have been glitches in the past, but it seems every year the system gets a little more efficient. Tell me how it's gone so far, though, this year.
That's the reason why they say we've changed it, so that it doesn't make sense to request parents applying for grade 1s and grade 8s to apply at the same time. It just creates unnecessary rush and unnecessary pressure. So for the first time, we've staggered the process. We're starting with the grade 8s only, and the grade 8s are easy because the grade 7s are still within our schooling environment, so we know them. So we can send them the login details, and they can log and register their children. And when we still have a possible space available, then we'll open for other people that are coming either outside our province or outside our country. But the reality is that we need to prioritize people of Gauteng because they've been within the system for the past 8 years. So you can't then allow other people to elbow them out. So we've targeted. We are starting with the grade 8s, and I'm encouraging all parents to do so on the 10th of August. And then we are bringing the grade 1s later on in September. So we are pleased with this arrangement because it will make things easier. We can respond to calls, we can respond to queries, but if we've got almost 400,000 people calling and applying at the same time. It put pressure unnecessarily to the system.
That is a lot of phone calls. 400,000. Yeah. Wow, that is a lot. I have to ask you a quick question with the primary kiddies. I saw an article that it's being advised that the little ones get mask breaks just to have a chance to take off that mask so they don't build up carbon dioxide. But it's also a difficult thing to get a little one to wear a mask. So what are the rules around what ages must wear masks? When a child goes to school, must they always wear a mask, or is it only for slightly older ones?
No, they must always wear a mask. That is non-negotiable. So there are three areas of mask break. When you are alone, probably in the bathroom, or areas where you are standing alone. Secondly, when you are in the playing fields, that is in an open space. And thirdly, when, for example, we have to drink or get something to eat. So those are the three mask break periods that we've given to our schools. And this is influenced by science, that you might have a mask fatigue. And if you have a mask fatigue, and these are children, they will end up playing with the mask and ignoring the mask and other things. So we are requesting our educators to really enforce the mask breaks so that our children don't have this mask fatigue.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for your time this evening. That, of course, is Panyaza Lesufi. He's the Gauteng MEC for Education, telling us that there are 80 schools that still need some assistance out of 2,300 before they can fully go back to full-time learning for the primary school kids in this province.